All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Scoops podcast. I am here with two friends, Deionte and Antoine. Say what's up, guys.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Thanks for
All right,
having me.
so how you guys doing with everything that's going on in life right now?
Good, honestly. I can't complain. I'm living good. Obviously, you can complain so you're bored, but I live in America, and as bad as it may get, I got a phone, I got a laptop, I got everything I need, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, same here, really. Stress-free for the most part. Just trying to get through with school and then just still working a little job that I have right now, just trying to make ends meet until everything gets better.
Yeah, I feel you. Same thing. It's everything's up in the air, but you still gotta plow through and get done what you gotta get done. All right, so let's start out with some headlines. The first headline I wanted to get into was James Harden telling the Rockets that he is open to a trade to the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you guys think about that, Deionte?
So I looked into that headline a little bit, and it's like he said Philly, but then he also said other contenders as well. So I just kind of find it to be interesting because it's like, well, everybody just kept picking two teams to have him going to, whether it was Brooklyn or Philly. But now, there are more contenders, so you can throw and different names up there. I wouldn't want to personally, but you could throw the Clippers out there technically if he wanted to go to the Clippers, or if they made a good deal for him to go there, he would go there too, because he said contender, not just to one specific team.
I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed. When everyone first was saying he wanted to go to Brooklyn, he posted the cap, and most friends were saying it was like none of it was true, and then even I feel like part of me doesn't want him to go either, because John Wall's my guy, and I know it's been a while, and he is, I guess, probably the same as Westbrook. Before his injury, he was already a better shooter than Westbrook from three, and I think now he's going to come back a lot better. I know they're both coming off injuries, but he gets paired with, they get DeMarcus Cousins now too, who, if he can even be half as good as what he was, him and John Wall already have that chemistry. So they have that. So I think, they lost pieces, but in a way they kind of did well to maybe keep James Harden. Maybe he just got off of a bubble, so going back to practice is just not on his priority right now. He wants to actually live his life for a little. LeBron just said on his podcast that he's not even going to play the preseason, so don't even really worry about it. Maybe he's just chilling. If he does go anywhere, go to Philly, because that's my guy Ben Simmons. So yeah, Team Philly. If not, I think he stays in Houston and they just try to run him back.
Here's my thing though. How's that trade going to go down? Who is Philly sending for James Harden?
It'd probably be Ben. It wouldn't be Ben Simmons. They might send Tobias. I think Tobias. Maybe
James Harden
Thibault.
is worth more than Tobias Harris.
Wait, but you have to think. Philly just rebolstered, right? And if you look at although James Harden's far better than both of them, if you look at the Westbrook trade, it's pretty much was 1-for-1, and then since they thought John Wall was better, they got the pick too, right? They could very much do. They got Danny Green now. They got shooters, so they can give up one of. They got Terrence Ferguson, so maybe Tobias and a Thibault, or Tobias and one of their young wing players goes, plus maybe a couple picks for Harden. I don't think Ben, because Doc likes Ben, and he already said he's good. I just can't see him trading either of them though, because he just said they're running the pick and roll.
I was already looking at some stuff earlier today about that. Dale Murray already said that he doesn't want to give up on the young core. He wants them to have this season, and then if it doesn't work out, then he's gonna blow it up. So in order for that trade to go through, for the money wise to work, you got to give
Tobias.
up. It's Tobias.
Yeah.
And then it's you just said his name.
Thibault.
Yeah, Tobias.
That hurt.
Thibault, and I think it's Ferguson, and then probably some pick swaps.
I like that, because you get Harden, Ben, and Embiid, and you may say the spacing can be trash anymore. Harden creates way too much of a problem for you to try to sit in the paint. Joel Embiid, you can keep him in the post a little more, and he still gets to create that space, especially with Harden. And then Ben, I guess Ben's still the question. Depends on a jumper, mid-range, something.
But see, my thing is though, like, because I was listening to Kendrick Perkins talk earlier about it today. I know. Kendrick Perkins, low key, is not the most quotable dude to go by, but he was like, when Doc had them in 2008, obviously, like they made it work with Rajon Rondo being the point guard and he couldn't shoot. So like, I'm pretty sure if anybody has the experience to coach somebody
Doc
who
could do
can't
it.
shoot, Doc could do it. Exactly.
Yep.
And you can argue Ben's a better passer. Maybe
You-
not because
you could
Rondo's Rondo, but
You could argue that though. Ben got court vision for sure.
he's
Wait, Ben
6'9".
Simmons a better passer than Rajon Rondo?
See, I don't want to say it because like I really, really, really like Rondo was my favorite player in the early 2000s. Like from 2008, Deionte now, from 2008 to 2010, 11, I was a Boston fan. LeBron's a better passer than Rondo, and Ben's pretty like in terms of passing. Like it may not always look as flashy. Rondo throws a lot of those like park risky passes and kind of gets away with it sometimes. And sometimes I don't know. It's like Jason Williams.
I was talking about this with someone. They were mentioning, of course, Ben Simmons is a point guard. He has great passing vision and he handles the ball a lot. But think about him being the guy that is the pick and roll, setting the pick for James Harden and rolling to the basket.
That is scary because then you can stretch Joel too. Still, especially if Joel's resting. If we're saying it's Tobias, and then
if you have another trusted ball handler in James Harden on that Philly team, Ben Simmons has a couple more options of things he can do than just spotting up. He can be the guy setting the pick and roll, especially because Joel Embiid can't shoot the ball, but Joel Embiid should still be getting his touches in the post.
I think it's a great point, especially with like part of Philly's problem wasn't that Ben couldn't. It was really they just like no one else could really create for themselves on that team. Tobias was Tobias was more of a post player at the point, mid range, and he's kind of slow and just wasn't doing what he should have been doing before he's getting paid. So now if you have like you said, if you have Harden who is James Harden, you open up more for Ben. If you put Ben as the roller and have Joel setting high post opposite side of it, you have options. Plus you have shooters.
Not every time, but every once in a while as a play like that, I feel like that would be a play where they have a high percentage of scoring off of that play.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Would it be like how Milwaukee used, I guess, Giannis technically? Because I think they're the same player with Ben just being a better passer, honestly. Like, one's more on the big side, one's more on the guard side, but in terms of, like, one, obviously, Giannis produces more, but in a sense, they're the same kind of, like, I'm the main ball handler. Body. Yeah, main ball handler. I can do what I want to in the paint, but I can't shoot. So that's why I hate Giannis, because I'm just bringing him down to Ben's level since they both can't shoot. But obviously, Giannis does a lot more.
But there's definitely some similarities between those two players. So I understand what you're saying.
It'd be like how you have, instead of Eric Bledsoe doing it with Giannis, you have Harden doing it with Ben. And it can be like with the Lakers, how the Lakers bring in Rondo and run actions with Bron, and then AD relaxes, or they run the pick and roll with AD and Bron just relax.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that action the Lakers do, though, they kind of just put Bron at the high post and let AD go out to like the corner of the wing. And then Rondo just dish it to Bron at the high post, and Bron.
That was when they ran the zone. When they ran into zones, they would do that. Bron would just sit in the middle.
But I mean that works so well though, because like when you have somebody who's so gifted to pass the ball sitting at the high post, bro, like they can dish it out anywhere on the court. Like you can beat a team if you get the ball at the high post, like in the middle of the zone.
That's why Jokic is really good with what he does. That's why Nurkic isn't as good. Nurkic kind of does it. Plumlee does it a little. Like. Bigs who can pass, if you're running a pick and roll and Ben Simmons is receiving the ball, think of his vision. His vision as he's receiving the ball in the pick and roll, he can score, give it back to Harden, find someone else dumping it. Like that's
it's crazy, but like a lot of people I feel like don't realize that those were just casual basketball people though. That's why the Lakers just got so much more deadly. Like they got Marc Gasol, who's been a great playmaking big since he's been in the league. Like that's scary.
That and you have your bigs don't get to rest.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to use Nurkic a lot as an example. Bro, in the playoffs in the bubble, he just couldn't rest. He had to guard AD or Dwight. Like, the Lakers did that.
That's tough. That's what I'm
saying.
Now
you have Montrezl Harrell,
yeah,
Mark, and AD to worry about. Plus Jordan Bell, who's going to come just be Dwight Howard in a smaller version and foul and be athletic.
Yeah.
If Harden does end up going to Philly. Does that?
Yes.
Where does that put them when it comes to title contention? Do you think that they take it all the way, number one?
No, them in Brooklyn. I want to say the Heat are going to do really good next year, but when you look at like as good as Miami's as a team, when you look at everyone saying KD and Kyrie are back to normal, that's such a scary combination. And then they have a good team. Like you got LeVert who's a bucket. You got Joe Harris who can shoot. You got two centers and Allen.
Do not sleep on Spencer Dinwiddie.
I was gonna get there. No, I was gonna get there.
Ever, man. And I love some Spencer Dinwiddie.
I high key just couldn't remember his name, which is disrespectful. So like I just kept going until I was like I remembered it.
Sleep on him. He couldn't remember his name.
Bro, no, he's their third best player. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah, he's
for sure.
The fact he's low. He's Lou Will.
For sure. Nah, like the only thing I gotta say about the Nets, like, hey, the talent's there for sure. Like they have a good supporting cast around KD and Kyrie. My only concern though is like it's a lot of firsts. Like it's a lot of the first time KD Kyrie ever played with each other.
Oh, okay.
First time Steve Nash being a head coach ever. First time Amari Stoudemire is on one of your assistant coaches on the bench. Like it's a lot of firsts that you got to get over to get to the playoffs, to get through, to get to the championship. Like small things like that can really make or break your season. So that's my only contradiction there.
I agree with you.
And let's not throw out the fact health. You never know how someone's health is going to be if they can't even play because we're in a bubble because of COVID, stuff like that. Who knows how it's going to look?
Right. I mean, plus, isn't Kyrie coming off another knee injury, like another knee surgery after last season?
Yeah, but this one was him kind of just being. I think this one was more of a like, he could have played the season perfectly fine, but was like, KD's not playing. There is this there's this surgery I could get. So I think he was just like, I'm gonna get it, because that's what he does. Kyrie doesn't, he's like, I'm not gonna waste my he knows he has bad knees, so he's like, I'm not gonna try to. We're not winning.
No, that's smart though. Preserve yourself for when you're at full strength, rather than just playing for nothing.
The two teams that you think are gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals are two pretty much assuming Harden goes to Philly. Those would be two pretty much unproven teams that would be basically brand new, especially when it comes to their main players on their team and their coaches.
That's true. Both of them have a brand new head coach coming in, so that's very true.
I would say it could go to 3, low key, depending on where Giannis goes. If Giannis goes to Milwaukee, they get better, but Milwaukee.
Giannis already in Milwaukee.
Oh, he already resigned? I missed that whole shit.
No, I'm just saying, like, Giannis.
He gets one more year in his contract.
Yeah.
Why did I think it was this year?
Nope. He gets one more.
Okay. I was gonna say if he goes to Miami, then it's 3 teams at the top, and then if he stays in Milwaukee, Milwaukee don't have enough, but they're still there. So, maybe next year if he leaves, then Miami and assuming Harden's in Philly, then those 3 teams. I think the East gets a lot better in terms of competing with the West.
Let's see, like. The East gets better to contend with the West, sure, but I'm sorry to say it, but like when we talking about contending against the West, we talking about contending against like the Lakers, and I mean you can get better, but like I don't know, that's a juggernaut over there. Like they just keep getting better and better.
No, I will say if Miami gets like a Giannis, that's a different conversation. That's a complete different conversation because you have Giannis and Bam. Yeah, that's a complete conversation. I think that.
But that's the thing, Giannis and Bam. It looks great defensively. That's 2 non-shooters.
They don't need they don't need any more offense.
They need more shooting. Jimmy Butler is not a consistent 3-point shooter. Giannis wouldn't be one either. Bam isn't one either.
People get so caught up in that though. Look at you watched them play. They play any team that was high scoring, they shut all that down. In most cases, yes, defense is good, but you need 3-point shooting. Duncan, Hero, Dragic, and Dunn did exactly what they needed. They provide enough. And Jimmy, he doesn't shoot threes, but he'll still give you 30 off nothing but mid-range layups and plays enough defense. I get what you're saying. It's probably still not enough.
When you have one guy on the floor that isn't a consistent 3-point shooter, you have a chance. All right, 1. 2,
Iggy.
2, not consistent, a threat. Someone that you can't leave butt naked open in the corner or wherever and they won't hit. All right? I'll let Giannis shoot all day that he wants to shoot out there. You
Bam
can't
has
leave
a
him wide
mid-range.
open. You can't leave him wide open because he can get a full head of steam and dunk on you. I understand that. But he's not a threat to shoot. All right? You play a zone on him, there was a problem. We saw that in the last postseason.
I'm not going to debate it.
We've seen it in multiple. We've seen it in multiple. We've seen it against Toronto,
not Miami,
and then Miami did that to him as well.
Bam has a mid-range, but mid-range is still not as much space as a three-point shot. They're going to be running into each other. It won't look as clean as you think it's going to look in your head, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think you understand.
A mid-range or a close shot?
He just got his mid-range badge. Like this season, with you know how good, like when you have Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Bam, probably Tyler Hero, and I'll say none. That defense is the best defense in the league without a doubt. Not even a question. And I don't mean like best defense, but they're still giving up 130. I mean like noticeably the best defense in the league. That's what they were this year. And I get like they lost Crowder. Did they lose Iggy?
I think Iggy's still there. Or I'm not too sure on that one, honestly.
I just think their 3-point shooting's not as good. But they know how to win games. Like it's like Giannis is really good, he has great, but he doesn't know how to win games. You can say they're not as good offense. They know how to win games.
He doesn't know how to win playoff games because they finished number 1 in the East.
That's all
every season.
That's all that matters.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like we said, LeBron is the East, and he lost to Toronto. Like get out of here, bro. Not this year.
Toronto wasn't bad that year.
But like everyone thought he was so dominant, and as soon as they ran it, just like shut. Like good teams matter. People forget good teams matter. That's why Denver's as good as they are. They're a really, really good team.
Yeah,
that matters. And if you give a really good team in Miami Giannis, I mean, it's a really good team plus Giannis. But he obviously is shooting. Everyone in the world thinks he's going to have a jumper because he at least shoots it. So if you guys want to give him that, we'll give him that. Even though it doesn't matter if you shoot it, he still can't make it. But I don't know.
How many championship teams can you think of in the last decade that had more than one guy in their best lineup that you couldn't look at and say, I'm okay with him shooting?
Golden State.
More than one guy that you'd say, I'm okay with him shooting.
Draymond was always on the floor.
That's one.
With Iggy or JaVale McGee.
I'm not looking at Iggy and saying, leave him open. He's gonna go for 10.
Sure, because the only time he hits him, he's clutch. His first 4 quarters, for pretty much outside of the last 2 minutes, which it's not really going to be hitting him that much. Like, I'm not giving him that credit if we're not giving Bam and them.
So you're saying Iggy when it comes to
I'm
shooting,
letting him shoot.
He's on the same level as Giannis and Bam Adebayo. The same level.
Giannis is going to have 40 points though. That's the difference. Giannis is going to have 30.
On how many shots?
Doesn't matter.
How effective
it never
was
matters. It doesn't matter. It's always effective.
How effective was it? And did they win the game? Drop your 40. Do you have a chip?
You're adding him to Jimmy Butler.
Another guy that's not a great consistent shooter.
He closes games very well, though.
Talk about his clutch shooting, and just talk about his shooting in general.
If Giannis could, it's the same thing with like LeBron will get you the first 40, he'll get you the whole way. Fourth quarter comes, he'll give it to AD, he'll give it to Kyrie. Giannis will get you there. LeBron's not AD's not a shooter. Hell no.
Okay, I didn't say he was Duncan Robinson. I didn't say he was Duncan Robinson, but okay. I'm not going to leave AD open either.
Antoine has no doubt about it. Like, you put all them on the floor, their defense goes crazy. Like, I don't see too many people going inside and the interior scoring on Bam and Giannis. And then on the perimeter, you got
real lockdown.
That's what I'm saying. And like on the perimeter, you got Jimmy, who is one of the best two-ways. And then I'm not sure if Kendrick Nunn can play defense, but I feel like your only liability out there is Tyler Hero. Offensively, though, it's like Jimmy don't take threes. So he can make threes, but he doesn't take them. But Jimmy Butler has a cold mid-range shot, like one of the coldest in the league. Tyler Hero, one of the Tyler Hero, I'm not gonna say one of the best shooters in the game yet because he only came off his rookie year, but Tyler Hero can make shots. Like we've seen that, whether it's in a clutch or whether it's just any time during the game. Like they can run plays for Tyler to come off a low screen. He gets to the wing and he's hitting shots. Like that's fine. But I mean, like when we get into like my thing is like I feel like where Daniel's coming from is like if we have 2-minute situations in the fourth quarter and it's like we need a bucket or like we need a 3-pointer. It's like teams are already gonna know like okay they're looking for either Tyler or none because Jimmy really doesn't take it like that. And if he does take it, there's probably like we're gonna have somebody there. We're gonna have our best defensive player on Jimmy for sure. Adebayo and Giannis, like we not gonna worry about them going to the 3-point line because there's a small chance that they make it anyway. Someone's gonna be like they heaving it up there. But Hero and Nunn, yeah, we for sure gotta make sure we have our eyes on them because those are the shooters out there. So like I see what Daniel's saying, but if we talk about just on the defensive side, oh yeah, they're godly. Like we can use that for them. But offensively, in the last 2 minutes, that's where things get difficult. Like you got to change up their lineup in
Two
order for
sides
them.
to the basketball.
Not everyone who can shoot is out here just hidden. Like Steph, there's only a few who are really gonna clip you whenever they want to clip you from 3. Everyone else who can shoot, Clay, they're gonna go get mid ranges first. So like, yeah, the 3's more. It's worth more. If you had the same amount of shots, but I hit 3s, you make more.
I think what you're confusing though is it's not just hitting those shots, it's the threat of hitting those shots. The more space you have, the more 2s that are going to be available for you to be able to hit.
Yeah, but so like it's AD doesn't need, it's like 82. AD can score from anywhere. He's good at everywhere. That's why he can do it so much easier. But AD also, if he wants to, he can go through you. And in today's league, you're either going to successfully get through him, or you're going to get a foul. And you're going to shoot 20 free throws a game.
Why do you think Brook Lopez is the center in Milwaukee right now?
So he can shoot.
Exactly, because if Giannis can go through you, and he doesn't want to be running into Brook Lopez's man in the paint when he does.
Yeah, I know, but Jimmy Butler's not going to be in the paint. The only person in the paint, Bam can sit high post. Bam can pass decently, not Plumlee in that, but decently. You put not Plumlee. You put Giannis in the paint or dribbling the ball wherever. You can go 5 out with that team because Giannis can go dribble, and then you can you start 5 out with Giannis dribbling. Then Giannis fails, whatever happens, yada yada.
You're putting Bam on the line. You're putting Bam out on the 3-point line. That's 5 out.
3-point, like not a 3, but like that mid-range, baseline mid-range.
Still not enough room. A really good defender is going to be able to get from mid-range to help on Giannis in the paint. And every time, I'm leaving Bam open to take that shot.
No, you can't just say that because like you have to look at it. I'm not looking at it for the whole season. I'm looking at it strictly matchup. You put Miami against the Lakers. You got Montrez, AD, Braun, Schroeder, and KCP or Kuzma. Then you're gonna have Bam, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Tyler Hero, and Chris Nunn or Iggy. You can put Giannis on AD. You can put Jimmy on Braun. You put Bam on Montrez. You got Tyler on, Kuz or KCP. Then you got Schroeder on Dragic or Nunn. If you match that up, Montrez and Bam cancel each other out. I'm not worried about Montrez Harrell shooting 3s. He's a better shooter, yes. But if he's out there, I'm telling Bam to still help. AD and Giannis, yeah, AD gets to sag more when he's guarding Giannis. Giannis will shoot a mid-range. Giannis' mid-range isn't horrible. He's got a little mid-range. So you have to respect the mid-range. Or you just go post him up and put Bam on the other side. And Bam's in that. If you have Bam on one corner in the mid-range, but like 20-footer, and you have Giannis opposite side, there's going to be spacing. If they're going to help, you can kick it to Bam. If they rotate, then you have a shooter. And you have Dragic, who's really good at.
I'm not going to rotate. Shoot the ball, Bam. Meet me in the paint.
Bam's going to hit that.
Okay, what percentage? How much? 50?
A whole game?
50%? I leave him open all game. He takes 20 shots. How many of those are he making?
He's making 10. That's 20 points. That's 20 points.
And probably a loss.
No.
For every
Gian-
2 that you're taking, the Lakers are going down and scoring 2 or 3 because they have
how many
spacing
free
in
throws?
the
How
in the
many
heat
free
zone.
throws is Giannis shooting?
Plenty.
Okay, it's 20. That's 15 from just free throws. Then he's gonna get and ones. Then he's gonna get fast break. It's gonna be a close. Like there's no like it. It works.
If I limit your team to 2s, to mid-range jumpers from Bam as being your go-to
Who in that
basket
Lakers team is really hitting threes like that?
because I'm
KCP?
shutting everything else down, I'm winning the game.
Who in that
Who is
Lakers
hitting?
lineup is really threatening you?
Who's a threat on that team?
Like
A threat.
LeBron's
Like
threat
I'm not
level
going to
from
leave him
3.
open. Like I'm not going to leave
Yes.
him. I'm not leaving
in
LeBron
that
open.
lineup.
I'm not leaving LeBron open.
But you're going to leave
I'm
Jimmy
not
Butler
leaving.
open.
Huh?
Are you going to leave Jimmy Butler open?
I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to leave him
Then
wide
it cancels
open.
out. Cancels out. It's next.
How does it cancel out? I'm talking about Bam, not Jimmy. I'm not talking about Jimmy. I'm talking about Bam.
Montrezl Harrell's the same player.
Okay, then I put in Mark, 5 out. I put in Markieff Morris, 5 out. When I say leaving open, I say it in the terms of people do like
all the
Westbrook.
way, like just like leave. Yeah, Bam's gonna. Then Bam's
like
gonna
2-3
drive.
steps behind. It's not like there's no one in the way. I'm like 2-3 steps behind where I can help other people if I need to, or if I see you pulling up, I can probably get out there and put a hand up if I need to. Or if you're driving, I'm there in front of you.
Yeah, Bam's gonna catch it, drive, swing.
I'm there in front of you.
So
but I'm still in a better position to help people.
But so the other team's defense is just too good. The Lakers have better defense than Miami. No,
but I'm not talking about defense. I'm talking about offense. 2 sides of the basketball.
It cancels.
Lakers defense will be good enough. Lakers defense will be good enough, and their offense will be better.
Yeah, and I'm saying Miami. No, I'm saying Miami's offense will be good enough, and their defense is better. We're literally just saying the exact same.
The opposite.
We're not gonna switch. I think you're like. I don't think you're wrong. Like I get what you're saying. I just think if you're thinking a final 7-game series after a whole season, they're gonna be perfectly fine.
All right, on to the next topic. ESPN dropped their not top 50. They're dropping their top 100 players, and they dropped from number 50 to 100. And there were some kind of startling, picks that they had that were kind of high compared to other players. Yes, Antoine.
Just let me know when you're ready. I want to. Oof, I got some.
Okay, hold up. First, let's get into Lonzo Ball. I think that was the name that kind of surprised us the most when it came to that 50 to 100 list. Lonzo Ball was at 54. And I'll go through the mentions that we talked about. Michael Porter Jr. was at 51. Lonzo Ball was at 54. Zach LaVine was at 56. Tyler Hero at 59. Blake Griffin at 65. D'Angelo Russell at 69. Montrezl Harrell at 76. John Wall, 81. DeMar DeRozan, 82. Buddy Hield, 87. And Seth Curry, 91. Just a couple names to throw out there that were on that list.
Christian Wood is 55.
Christian Wood's not a bad center.
I like Christian Wood.
No, that's what I'm saying. He was on Detroit. I didn't pay attention to him.
Yeah.
Did he have a good season? I've heard about him.
Christian Wood's a really good player.
I'm throwing out an article. I'm just going to talk about Christian Wood.
I know he was hooping in the summer league. I remember seeing him hoop in a summer league somewhere. But then I just didn't know. He put up 13, 6, and 1.
He had the end stretch of last year. He really showed out towards the end of the year. So that's why it's like all right, he's gonna go to he was like he had like a couple games. The last stretch, he only had like 2 games that was below 19 points. Everything else was like mid-20s, and he had like a career high 32 somewhere in there.
I'm about to check right here.
He was balling. But yeah, that's why I think he can do good on the Rockets, assuming James Harden stays. Maybe doesn't, who knows? But I think he's gonna have a really good year this year with Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Not better than Zach LaVine though.
Does anyone want? Wait, I'm sorry. You said he was 55.
Yeah. There's some people on that list he's not better than.
Does anyone want to start?
Yes, I'm a troll to Deionte, so I like to make fun of Lonzo. We'll see that later. But this ain't even me trolling. This is disrespect. This is disrespect to some of those names. He is not better than any of the people, I think, that you said. Besides maybe he's not better than Montrezl Harrell. Like, that's crazy. He's not better than any. He's not better than Zach LaVine. He's not better than
Seth Curry.
See, best Curry in the league.
Oh, it's okay. Seth Curry,
not
great
really, not really.
great shooter, of course. Great. You know, he can score. But I mean, just thinking of everything else Lonzo Ball can do for your team as he is developing his jumper, and year by year he's getting better at shooting. I mean, that's getting scary. You know, he's getting better as a shooter, and think about everything else that he does for your team: passing the ball, rebounding, playing defense, which he does pretty well.
He just shot 43% free throw line. I don't want to hear anything about shooting from him ever.
I didn't say he's a great shooter, but is he or is he not improving?
No.
He hasn't improved from his rookie year. He has not. That's a false statement. I'm waiting for an answer.
Yes.
He's improving.
A little bit.
Okay, once he starts plateauing and staying like, he's like 2 years where he hasn't improved. All right, well, you got a conversation, but you don't yet because he's improving and learning his jump shot.
Who's better, Austin Rivers or Lonzo Ball?
Lonzo Ball. That's not that hard of a.
I think I'm taking Lonzo. Yeah.
That's not a hard question.
They're the same person.
They're not.
Like not play style, but like in terms of like what they do in game.
They're not, and it's not
at all.
Same person.
Just not at all.
No.
They're just like they don't really.
Austin Rivers is a scoring punch off your bench. Doesn't have as good a vision as Lonzo. Doesn't play as good a defense. Isn't as big.
No. I don't mean like playing style. I mean like when they're on the court. You know, that plus or minus is like 3 or 4, you know. It's not really, you don't need it on the court, you know.
Well, I mean, I'm a big Lonzo fan, but I try to stay, I tried not to be biased because Blake Griffin was one of my favorite players in the league. He's on this list. Would I take Lonzo over Blake right now? For sure, but that's because, you know, Blake is always, quote unquote, if he's ready or not ready with the knee injuries and whatnot. But, It's crazy to see Lonzo above a lot of these people, though, because we've already seen a lot of these people establish themselves as, legitimate scorers. Like, Zach LaVine's a legit scorer. Zach LaVine's going to give you 25 points a game. Like, Zach LaVine's going to be the best player on your team. You want him to have the ball in his hands late game situations. Like, I get that. D'Lo has been an all-star in this league, so it's crazy to see Lonzo Ball's name above D'Lo because D'Lo has, he has the notables. D'Lo has had, I think, a couple 30-point games, maybe a 40-point game. We've seen the famous celebration, ice in my veins, 3-point shooting. D'Lo has that. But when we're talking about, intangibles, and I'm guessing why they have Lonzo so high, is just because, like I mentioned earlier, you had that stretch where it was maybe 10 games or so. And I don't think we should be, just going based off of this because Lonzo did play in the bubble, and he did terrible at the bubble. But if we go just based off that stretch, if that's what they're looking at and thinking before COVID, before we had to shut down, bro, Lonzo was hooping. He was having a couple games where he had 20-plus points, 8-plus assists, 7-plus rebounds, putting up, legit, I can get triple-doubles every night if I wanted to type numbers. And his field goal percentage was pretty good as well. His free throws and his finishing are the two aspects of his game he needs to work on. But we're talking about, pure point guard intangibles, though, Lonzo play vision, defense, stuff like that. Lonzo got that. So I can understand why he's at 50. What did you say, 54?
I think
54.
I can understand 54.
If he came in the 2010 era when Rondo came, he would have been one of the coldest point guards in the league. I think until he does get his shooting better, he's just going to be like Rondo. But I guess Rondo shoots better than him now. So
yeah, but Rondo, it's taking Rondo time to develop that jump shot, though.
So shooting only matters when it comes to Lonzo. Got it.
No. I'm saying.
Let me write that down.
That's crazy because if we looked at hold on, he didn't.
Let me write it down.
Where were his 3-point? Rondo shot 37% from 3. That's crazy.
We're talking about Rondo. We're talking about Lonzo.
Lonzo, 37.5%.
Yeah, he's been improving it. That's why I'm the mark of Lonzo can't shoot is kind of crazy because 37% is really good. He's improved, but his free throws and finishing, no, you could still bash him for that because Lonzo still is real passive when he gets to the lane. People know he's gonna kick it out to Brandon Ingram or Drew Holiday when he was there. JJ Redick.
So Giannis shot 30% from 3. And 32 in the postseason. That's only 5% difference, So is that good enough then to be a threat? Because 37, 30. No, it's not.
1 out of every 3 shots are going in. Less than 1 out of every 3 shots
Okay,
are going
Lonzo, 1 out of what? Or no?
There's a higher 33% is 1 out of every 3. So he has a higher chance of him making 2 out of 3 than 1.
Same person. Yeah.
All right. There were a couple things I wanted to talk about on this list. I really like Christian Wood, like I said. Based off that stretch that he had at the end of games, I kind of understand why he's on this list, but that's a tough one to decide. Lonzo Ball is not better than Zach LaVine. Let me repeat that one more time. Lonzo Ball is not better than Zach LaVine. Christian Wood is not better than Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is at 56. Christian Wood is at 55. I do not agree with that in any way. And Michael Porter Jr. is put above all of these names at 51, and I have a problem with that as well.
Wild.
I will tell you why.
Hold on. Before you get into why, let me say why I think. I think it's because people are looking at MPJ from the playoffs and how good he did towards that back end. Like, oh, look how good this guy was. Look how much he did for the Nuggets. And they're not watching Bulls games. And I'm not going to say I'm here watching every Chicago game and seeing everything that Zach LaVine is doing. I'm not. But you got to be conscious of what the guy is doing, because I'm sure all three of us know how good he's been this season.
Absolutely.
That he's had a really, really good season for them.
Should have been an all-star.
But I'm not putting MPJ over that just because of, the little that he's done in the playoffs.
True. I want to say, so then this list pretty much just trash then, because weren't we saying with Lonzo they had to have been going off pre-bubble?
Every ESPN list I feel like we see is trash. Remember that one year that they put Kobe super low and they interviewed Kobe and Kobe was like, those guys are idiots.
40?
All right, was he hurt? Was it coming off injury? When was this? Or was this healthy Kobe?
I don't remember. It was towards the latter part of his career, though.
If it's last 2 years, I understand. It's disrespectful, but I understand. If it's anything before those injuries, it's the dumbest thing.
I think it was. I want to say it was before the Achilles injury. I can't say for sure though.
I think it was the season going into the Achilles injury. So it was 2012, 2013 season.
Was he coming off the shoulder or was he healthy? Because I know he had the back-to-back.
The shoulder was after the Achilles, because when he came back off the Achilles, he only played I think it was 13 games.
So it was first year or two after Dwight.
So real quick, back to the list.
Go ahead.
Hero at 59. That's above reigning sixth man of the year, Montrezl Harrell.
Crazy.
Who was averaging 18 and 7. That's above Blake Griffin, who healthy is easily a top 5 power forward, possibly a top 5 big man. Top 5 name 5 power forwards better than.
I'm not hard disagreeing. I'm trying to think.
We're talking healthy Blake.
Healthy Blake.
Let me think. For sure. Let me think. Bam is a 5, right?
He's a 5. He plays a
Giannis
7.
is a
4. That's
4.
AD's a 4. That's 2.
AD.
KD, I guess you can say is a 4. That's 3.
KD's a 3.
He's both.
We won't say KD because that's too easy for the list. Damn, I'm trying to think.
For the sake of this argument, we'll say KD's a 3.
Okay, that's 2.
That's 3.
That's 2.
Oh, he said he's a 3. I'm stupid.
Yeah, so 3.
I'm really trying to think. He probably is.
No, it's not. It's low key, no doubt. If we talking healthy Blake, it's low key, no doubt.
See, but I just don't know if I'm stupid and don't know players on it. Is Zion a 4?
Zion is a 4.
Even though they said they're turning him into a 3.
Yeah,
He's not better than Blake right now.
Yes, he is.
No,
he is not better than Blake Griffin right now.
You saw what he was doing when he was coming in games and winning. Hey, his first game, he brought him back and they took him out. We're not kidding. I'd be joking and saying fluff Zion. I'm not. He's better than Blake Griffin. I can't. He made too much of it. I know Blake's really good. Blake probably is top 5. I'll say that. But in that top 5, Zion's yeah.
That's so hard for me to just say Zion's already better than
Blake. Because I know it is. But that's why sometimes that's the truth. Sometimes
it's not hard for me to say it's not. Because it's not. He's not better than Blake Griffin right now.
Why not? Because of what they can do or going off production?
But production, why isn't Blake Griffin winning more basketball games in Detroit?
No, individual stats.
Are you talking about numbers?
Yeah, numbers.
You're talking about numbers. Yeah.
I mean, both. I'd have to look at both their numbers, but
I'm checking right now just because I might be completely stupid. But just, bro, Zion was making too much of an impact. Like, it was just too, not even.
Now Zion was making a huge impact.
what's
but
Blake
we
Griffin
also,
doing? Standing out there taking his shirt off and dancing for
I'm
the crowd
checking.
like he's playing
I'm
basketball.
checking right.
No.
But
Like,
he's checking.
no.
Calm down.
But my only thing about that, like the impact for sure that Zion makes is huge because the Pelicans were on like a losing streak until Zion got there and they turned it around. But if we're looking at that, we also got to take like a part of Zion's impact was just made stronger due to the fact that he had decent players around him to help him out.
So did Detroit.
Who was around him?
Derrick Rose.
All right.
I have to think of the team. Luke Kennard. Christian Wood.
I'll give you that for the sake of the argument.
Christian Wood.
They have another first or second year player there who I can't remember his name.
They have the Odie, the dude from France. I don't know if he was hooping.
Yeah.
Sekou.
I just can't think of their roster. They were until Blake got hurt, they were on track to make the playoffs. Like, they were a good team. He just got hurt.
But I can't compare that team to the team that the Pelicans had.
I can't.
Pelicans had guys like Brandon Ingram, Drew Holiday.
Brandon Ingram shouldn't have been an all-star. We'll get to that later.
Brandon Ingram, Drew Holiday, like they had some guys that could play.
Yeah.
Derek Favors.
Zion averaged 22, 2 and 6, and Blake Griffin averaged 2, 6 and 2, 15, 4 and 3.
Yeah, Blake for sure had it down here.
I'm just thinking of Blake Griffin, what that guy can do. You can put that guy, the ball in that guy's hands, and he can shoot, he can drive, he can pass. He has great passing vision for being a big man. He's 6'10", he's mobile, he's agile. He can dunk on you every once in a while when he needs to. And I think he can do more for your team than Zion can.
If the numbers
I need a couple more years of Zion. I need a couple more years of him, and I need to see more. I need to see more.
When LeBron first got to the league, did you need another year of LeBron? No.
I'm not comparing Zion and LeBron.
I mean, I don't like to, but like he proved, like I was saying he needs to show me, and he showed me. I can't tell him, okay, I need another year. If he comes out this year.
Was Zion on this 50 to 100 list?
He's probably in the top 50.
That's what I'm saying.
He's probably top 50.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's top 50.
Okay. Because when he was coming in the league, we had a debate over this. They had him above. 50. He was already in the top 50. Like he was with people like Andre Drummond and like Kevin Love, stuff like that, and he hadn't even touched the NBA floor. So after coming in and doing a little bit of damage in the 13 games he played, or how many games he played, he's for sure in the top 50.
It's like Luka and Trey. You didn't need to see another. Like Trey, obviously Luka's doing better than Trey, but you didn't need to see another year of Luka and Trey. Like you could see what they were here to do, and you could see. You don't need to see obviously things could change. He could fall. Yes, that happens.
We haven't gotten a full year. How many games we get of him?
And I think that's the key point. I think it's the full year thing. Because a lot of people can say you can take 15 games, say it's a small sample size. But I mean, he was doing good though within the 15 games. So like you can't sit here and say he wasn't. You can't.
You could say that part of it was because he wasn't in shape. We know this. Or they were trying to get him into better shape, trying to fix how he walks so he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, mid-season he was. Yeah.
Most of it was them saying they were restricting him, not him, which is probably for the better. So you could, even if you want to say that, you have to also, you can't just say, well, we didn't see the full year. You have to do exactly what you did with LeBron. LeBron missed the playoffs, cool. But now, since he was hurt, or since whatever, he got to do that extra rehab. They went to the bubble, got sent home quick, and he got to do even more prevention and work to get in more shape.
LeBron is also, 17-year veteran?
Just
I think
because
he is right now,
you say someone's name doesn't mean you mean exactly. I don't mean exactly. He's not LeBron yet.
Okay, I'm not even talking about LeBron, just him. I'm talking about a veteran that knows what goes into a full NBA season. You're talking about 72 basketball games now, previously 82. Players, rookies, they hit a wall. And Zion's going to hit that wall. He's probably going to go down before he goes up.
His wall's gonna be like a month slump, and he'll be back to hooping. I think people are too eager to see people do well and then be like, nah, I don't trust it. Because often, times it happens. It happened to Derrick Rose. I think now, as much as same thing with if you go back and say people back then had the technology we have now, it's Well, now they do have that. Like, we have that technology. These players have the technology to stay healthy. They've been doing it since high school now. Their lives been like they've been professionals since high school. Mikey's not going to be. It's a different animal, but like the traveling and like that's not as much of that doesn't all that doesn't really. Besides the hooping straight on the court aspect, none of the other stuff as much as an impact just because they've been doing it since high school now, or they've been doing it since middle school. They have physical trainers. They have the therapy. They have the best of the best because they're already making millions and being famous and all this when they're young.
All right, we're getting sidetracked again.
Yes, we are.
So,
A
a few other mentions on that list. Like I said, John Wall was at 81. Kind of understandable. Dude's a baller. We know what he can do, but because of the injuries, they're kind of laying low with this pick. Hero was 59. DeMar DeRozan was 82. That's kind of got a sting for DeMar. DeMar's at one point was considered the top or maybe like top 3 shooting guard in the league. And now you're, how many spots is that behind a rookie that came in and was on the finals team this year?
Like 6 spots behind him?
No, 59 to 82.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said tomorrow was 65. Yeah.
Hey, who would you rather have on your team? Okay, no, that's off topic. Never mind.
Who would I rather have on my team?
Tyler Hero or DeMar?
Probably Tyler. Sorry, DeMar.
Yeah,
23 spots. 23 spots behind.
So does the list make sense?
It's tough though. I mean, it's not close. It's not 23 spots away.
That's when like your argument comes into effect because like him really not being able to shoot hurt his career.
Yeah. All right, we are moving on here. So let's move on to playing a rousing game of start, bench, and cut. So the first 3 players, for those who don't know what start, bench, cut is, I'm going to name 3 names, and you are going to pick one person that you would start on your team, one person that would come off the bench, and the third person that you would cut from your team. So the first one we're going to go with are top point guards in the NBA, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, and Kyrie Irving. So I want to start with Deionte. I want to know who Deionte would start, bench, and cut from this.
Oh, that's tough. I got to go first. Start, bench, cut. We talking about Kyrie, Dame, and Curry. Wow. I'm going to be real. I got to start Dame. Like, out of the 3, I like Dame the most just because, I don't know. It's something, I don't know. Like, they're all, I would say, really good shooters, Curry being the greatest shooter of all time. But, like, I don't know. There's something about Dame as to where he's just more dynamic from everywhere. In a sense, like I know Curry's really good at the long distance shooting. Like that's who a lot of people look at when you think of long distance shooting. But Dame low-key just one dribble past half court pull up at the logo type. And then when it comes to him penetrating the defense, like he can finish on bigs as we've seen. And he's really good at, drawing contact, and he's 90% or better from the free throw line. So I'm gonna have to go Dame for my start. Off my bench, I'm gonna have to go Curry. Just because, again, Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. If I pass on Curry, I'd kind of look a little crazy for that. And just more so, Curry draws so much attention off the ball. Like, Kyrie, when he has the ball in his hands and he's dribbling, he's dancing, he's making it look nice, of course, all the attention is dragged onto him while people might be running, like, other things on the side. Like, you could be doing pin-down actions and whatnot. But Curry, when he doesn't have the ball, you got to pay attention to him running around the floor and just how lethal he is from when he catches it and he shoots it. It's probably like a 60% chance at a time when he's open and he catches and shoots it, it's going in. Like just off catch and shoot type. So I got to go Curry off the bench, and then I got to cut Kyrie. And it's nothing against Kyrie. It's just, the other 2 names are, in my opinion, just higher than him. So I got to go Dame start, Curry bench, and then Kyrie cut.
Antoine, would you like to go next?
Starting Dame is the best point guard in the league. Steph's coming off the bench. He's the second best player in the league. I mean, they're 1-2, 2-1, however you want to put it. But in my opinion, Dame's 1. So I'm starting Dame. Steph second. As I said, second best point guard and greatest shooter of all time. And although Kyrie, if you ask who my favorite players are, those 3. Kyrie's my second favorite player of those 3. Curry would be 3. But it's just like as good as all 3 of them are. It's like Deionte said, like those 2 names, and he's up there with those 2 names, but it's like a 199 type thing, It's just kind of third, I guess you could say. So you could cut. No
I have a
disrespect.
question. It might seem off topic. If LeBron James was on whatever was Damian Lillard's best team that he's been on in Portland, if you want
We'd
to say
have
it
a
was last year,
championship.
the year before that, he has a championship, 100%.
No,
Not
yeah,
even a
they
question.
want to quit. They want to chip. Bro, whatever team Bron's on, it's a championship team. We give him a point guard like Dame. I mean, we see what he did with Kyrie. You give him Dame, it's the same thing. You just got to find some pieces to play defense, and that's it.
So that equates for me Kyrie and Dame, because then you'd say Kyrie got his ring because of LeBron, right? I mean, Kyrie hit clutch shots, but I feel like you put Dame in those situations and he's hitting those shots too.
I will say my counter to this, which I guess still can't really. If LeBron's not in the league, things change. So it's like LeBron never existed, and you go back to past years, or whatever, or not he never existed. It's just like if it wasn't for LeBron, a lot of players would have rings. Whether it's like, or maybe like people would probably want more players to have rings, but they didn't want to go against LeBron too. So it's like, yes, I guess you could like, and at the end of the day, they both have the ring because of him. But it's also the same thing as like if you put them on the same team, I think Dame does more for Dame's done more for Portland. He's probably pre-Cleveland. If you look at like Kyrie, like Boston, like when he was hurt, like if you look at those teams, I mean Dame's just always. We've never been like there's been 3 years we weren't predicted to make the playoffs and we were top 3, or we damn near almost won the West. Like I don't know.
I can help you. I can help you sum that up, bro. Dame's a better leader than Kyrie, simply put. Like, Bron's the leader on that Cavaliers team. Kyrie came in and hit big shots because he's a shooter. He makes shots. Like, that's what he does. My bad, not a shooter. He's a scorer.
Lethal.
He gets buckets for sure. Dame's a leader, though. Dame's going to he's going to facilitate on the floor. He's going to be the floor general. Dame isn't the best defender, but Dame's going to put in his effort when it comes to defense. Not saying Kyrie doesn't, but Dame's just going to like all around lead his players and try to win that game. Just like Antoine said, like there's been a couple of times where Portland, Nurkic got injured. There's been a couple of times where their wing defenders weren't there anymore, as in like Mo Harkless left, and who was the other wing defender that you have?
Rodney. Oh, yeah.
Aminu, thank you. Like, there's been a couple of times where, like, they've had really good pieces around Dame. Those pieces left. Dame still in the West got his team to the playoffs. Dame's just a better player, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'll also say it's just, like, sometimes, even if you give someone, like, there's a lot of people with skill set. Some people just want it more. Some people just are better at getting it. Obviously, Kyrie's really good, too. But, like, in a sense, it's kind of just, like, everyone's really good because they're in the league. Some people are really good, but also know how to dominate, know the game, know other things. So they're superstars, all-stars. There's just levels to things. Even within the top of the top, when you get to the top 5, obviously there's still a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's just like, I think if you're making that list, you're going to have Dame in most people. I mean, I guess that's like more or less opinions. But even if you look at numbers, I think your 1 and 2 would probably be Dame and Steph. Dame, Steph, Dame, however it is. And I think in most cases, Kyrie would just be third. Like, it's kind of part of it, too. For me, it's just like, I look at it from the ranking system. That's what it would. It's kind of what it would be.
I still have not said mine.
I'm sorry. Last thing. Only thing I would change is maybe if you're putting them on the same team, starting same team type of thing, then I would probably cut Steph.
Steph is number 1 for me.
Makes sense.
What I think about him and Dame, I think Dame might be more lethal on ball, but I also think about what Steph can do off the ball. I think especially in that Warrior system, he's proven like how dangerous he is when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. Not saying Dame isn't, I'm saying Steph is more. So I'm putting Steph at 1. I'm not gonna say it's not close because it is kind of close for me. Kyrie has a ring. Yes, a big part of that was because of LeBron, but Kyrie was able to, score where he needed to, and he came up with some big buckets for him to get that ring. And I think he's a better overall scorer. We know that, but when it comes to, like you said, like leadership and stuff like that, that does equate into how good of a basketball player you are. I think it's more than just what you do on the court. It's locker room stuff. What you mean to your team, things like that. So yeah, I would put Dame at 2. but I think Kyrie is he's close. He's not like it's a Dame for sure at 2. It's like a Dame at 2, but Kyrie had an argument.
No, for sure. So, like, I got a question for you though. So you said the same thing. Of course, a lot of people say, of course, Curry is just as deadly on ball as he is off ball. Are we crediting the people around Curry for being really good? Having Clay, having people like Draymond when he was good to worry about from the perimeter, Harrison Barnes, Iggy, KD, everybody who's been in that Warrior system? Or are we just like saying you can put Curry on, let's say, Chicago and have like mediocre perimeter offensive threats around him?
Even give him
Curry's
Zach
still
LaVine.
going to give. Yeah, of course, you give him
that second star.
But Otto Ford is kind of mediocre.
That's understandable. A lot of it is the Warrior system and the players, but the Blazers, not like the Blazers have scrubs on their teams. They got Nurkic. They got someone that can pass out of the post. They got CJ McCollum, someone that can draw in the defense and could get his teammates involved if he needed to. Like, they have people on offense, people that can pass the ball. They don't pass the ball the way the Warriors do. Not many teams in history have passed the ball, especially the way that championship Warriors team did. I understand all that. But, I mean, I think another thing is Steph, when you think of Steph and Dame, I think of Steph being more selfless, honestly, like in the game of basketball. Like, when you want to talk about leadership and loyalty and stuff like that, if you want to equate that as selflessness for Dame, I understand that. But when it comes to on-ball actual basketball, Steph is probably the most selfless superstar in the league. I really believe that. Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, my fault.
And more selfless in comparison to Dame, because when I think of Dame, I think of an on-ball threat, someone that is bringing the ball up every single time and that is looking for his shot, and then just about every time that he's up there, he's the one that's creating the offense, and he's the one that's looking, trying to pull up from somewhere or go down and shoot the ball. And if he's not, he's giving the ball up to someone like a CJ, like Melo, Gary Trent, or Nurkic. But I don't think people are like, all right, where's Dame, as much as they are, where's Steph, as much.
See, question. This is where it comes in. Because, we were talking about, KD, can't say KD because injuries. So we just assuming Steph's coming back fine.
Not as bad of an injury.
He's a shooter, though.
What was his injury?
Broke his wrist.
He's a shooter.
But he came back from that already.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he hasn't played yet. He hasn't played since the wrist. That's what happened in the playoffs. Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. He's a shooter and he hurt his wrist, but it's not as bad an injury for him. When KD's not, he's a slow mid-range turnaround fadeaway guy. He can drive. He'll drive. I'm not saying. I remember I said he wasn't explosive, and I said the wrong, phrasing. He got mad at me. But that's what I will say. The past years, yes, Steph has been the better point guard. Dame was second, or Dame was third at times too. Dame hasn't, in my opinion, unless using bias, been the best point guard without a doubt, in my opinion, until this year. Everyone's saying wait for Steph to come back. He's a shooter who just had a wrist injury. I still think he'll be top 2. But even with so like you said, Portland never had scrubs. But like Deionte said, when he had Clay, that system is built. My thing is if you put him on a different team where it's not already built for him, literally the team drafted and picked every player for that team, he's still really good. But I think that's why I don't put him as far ahead as Dame and Kyrie as people do, because I think if you put Curry on Cleveland from the start, or you put him on a team where they didn't draft that team and then they just grew together, I don't think he's still the best shooter without a doubt of all time, and still really a threat. But I think he's got 1 ring or 0 rings like Dame or Kyrie. I don't think
is Dame playing the same way in that Warrior system as Steph is?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he could do it. Yeah.
You don't think
that's what I'm saying.
Could and will do two different things.
Then you don't watch enough Portland basketball, because most of his threes come off screens. It's not him on ball.
Could and will do.
Yeah, he would. Yes.
I mean, I guess
he wouldn't be from his deep.
So I guess it's an if, so you really can't say it. But I mean, if I had to, like, from the Portland basketball that I do watch, I don't watch them play every single game, but I do tune in sometimes. I would say, like, I couldn't see Dame because he has the players around him, as in CJ McCollum. We can say Gary Trent, especially in the bubble. Gary Trent was hooping. Melo hits shots occasionally, and then there's been other players on Portland who can kind of
No
go for it,
defense.
get their own shot.
Zero defense.
But
Dame drops 50 on Golden State all the time.
right, but I'm saying, like, if CJ has the hotter hand, like as we even seen in the bubble against Memphis, where like CJ was low key cooking against John Morant, like Dame's gonna get out the way and give him the ball. And like if he has to go do something off the ball, whether it's down screens or try to get open while CJ's working, he's gonna do that. Like I think if you put Dame in the same Golden State system around Clay, again Harrison, KD, Draymond, all those guys you list, I mean I think it works the same because you know what's gonna win the basketball game. Like you're not gonna let your ego get over that.
Yeah, I don't want to try to take anything away from Steph, but it's like you have to that system is literally like their offense is Steph and Curry offense. He's not the point, like he's the point guard, but Draymond was the point guard. Like when everyone was clicking, like a couple years ago, Draymond was the point, and they were just running stuff. Like when he was dribbling, yes, he was a threat. He had all that, but the thing that made him dangerous was the fact that they played really good defense and then had people who would just set screens and stack screens. And you couldn't just focus on his screens because on the other side of the court, you have screens running for Clay.
No, but see, like, I feel like it's not even just that, though. Like, it is them just setting screens, but I think that's kind of like a dumbed-down version of Golden State's offense.
Mm-hmm.
You have people who can set screens and facilitate with the ball in their hands off of screens. Like, Bogut, we mentioned one of the, like, better passing big men. Bogut's amazing. Like, Bogut can catch the ball, hits you on a backdoor cut, just like Marc Gasol, Pau Gasol, Jokic, all these big men that we named before. So it's like their offense in a dumbed down version, yes, is just set screens for Curry, get him up so he can score. But there are a lot of facilitators, other threats on the floor that even though you got to watch out for them, Stephen Curry is still like the ultimate threat you got to watch out for. But I'm saying if you put Dame in that same position with all those threats around him, like
even Kyrie,
and even Kyrie,
yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't just disrespect Kyrie. But if you interchange that point guard with other good shooters, not lethal shooters like Curry, but good shooters, I feel like they can still succeed.
Also, Kyrie and Dame have to not force, but they have to create for themselves a lot more, even to this day, for themselves than Steph does.
Next start bench cut group that we're going to go with is the Ball brothers. Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball. Does anyone want to start? You want me to take it?
I'll start just to get it done. Cut Lonzo, benching Jello, and starting Melo. That's all I have to say on that. That's the way it goes.
Okay. I am starting Lonzo, benching Melo, cutting Jello.
I'm gonna have to agree with Daniel. I mean that's difficult. We haven't seen Jello play a single second yet in the league. We haven't seen Melo play a single second yet in the league. But we've just had more recency of seeing Zoe and Melo on the floor and not Jello. So, I guess we just don't know exactly what Jello's bringing to, we don't know what he's bringing to the game of basketball besides his shooting ability. So, I'm gonna have to cut Jello and I'm gonna start Zoe and bench Melo.
Yeah, I think it's bold to cut the only guy that we've seen actually play in an NBA game, but to each their own, I guess. I'm just when it comes to Melo and Jello, yeah, you're basically just going off potential, what you think they're going to be able to do because they've never played. But yeah, the last group is Devin Booker, CJ McCollum, and Donovan Mitchell. This one might hit close to home for Antoine. I'll start. I would start Donovan Mitchell, bench Devin Booker, cut CJ McCollum.
Antoine, you can go next.
I'm gonna start Devin. That's crazy. Yeah, best shooting guard out of all three of those to me. And then, I think Donovan Mitchell will be the. Damn, this is tough for me because I really do want to say CJ because he's really tough. He's really, really tough. So honestly, I'm gonna bring him off the bench and I'm gonna cut Mitchell, but I'm not gonna disagree with cutting CJ if that's what happens.
I mean, it's tough because it's not tough. Devin's for sure starter. Like that's not tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disagreeing with Daniel's list. I'm just saying that was, we said it was wild to cut the only Ball brother who played in the league. I'm gonna say it was wild to not start Devin Booker.
8-0,
Yeah, and then when it comes to the bench, I'm gonna have to go. This is no disrespect to CJ, but I gotta go with Donovan just because I don't know, like CJ's a hooper. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. I think I would just look at Donovan Mitchell and like if I really had to go tell somebody to give me a bucket, maybe I just have more faith in Donovan to go give me one over CJ because CJ does have like hot streaks and cold streaks can be a thing with any NBA player, but I think I've seen a couple times to where CJ's been at a lower moment and CJ is a number 2 option of the offense. So it's crazy to be like have like a lower moment when you're not getting the best defensive assignment every night. But Donovan Mitchell has the best defensive assignment every night and still goes out there and puts up like 23 a game. So I might have to go Donovan off the bench, but Devin for sure starter. Like yeah.
I have no problem with you guys starting Devin Booker. It's not like I'm like, oh no way at all. I maybe it's a bias towards Donovan Mitchell, but I like him over Devin Booker and CJ McCollum.
Yeah, I would have cut CJ before the Denver series, to be honest with you. Like he's good, but I would have took Donovan, and then when he did what he did against Denver, and since then I have to.
That's fair.
All right, so we are going to go on to a segment that I call "Who's on the Phone," and this is how it's going to work. Each of us are going to get a phone call from someone in the NBA, and it is our job to give them advice to do as well as they can in the upcoming season. All right, we understand? All right, so let's start with Antoine. The person that's on the phone for you is LeBron James. What are you telling him?
All right, so you're LeBron, trade Kyle Kuzma and KCP and like your next 3 first-round picks because you don't need them for Bradley Beal. And then you have Bradley Beal. Listen, LeBron. LeBron's LeBron. If you do this, you get to rest even more. And you get to do the exact same. Yeah. That pick's not. Look, Bron, look, don't worry. The pick's going to go through. Trade's going to go through. They'll accept it. And you do that, and then you have Bradley Beal, and you have AD. And you just get to go off and do whatever you want. Just go off, just go off. You get to relax, average like 15 assists, still get your like 22, 24 points a game. And you got AD and you got Bradley Beal who carry the heavy workload and put up, the high numbers and stuff scoring wise. And then you still got like Schroeder and Mark and Montrez to help. So y'all really that's a squad that no one's messing with. Do me a favor and set it up so y'all not in the same side of the bracket as Portland. That way, y'all could, meet in the Western Conference Finals just so we get a little farther before we get eliminated. And then you play Kyrie and KD in the playoffs. And you're LeBron. There's nothing I can tell you to change what you do. You're the GOAT. So I'm gonna sit back and let you do you, bro.
What else is a part of that trade for Bradley Beal?
I'm glad somebody asked.
Hold on, because you said Kyle Kuzma for Bradley Beal with the straightest face I've ever seen in my life, and I was sitting here looking at
I saw you counting.
So trade logic is turned on in this scenario, right?
Hey, bro, we didn't say this was real life. We said this was 2K. This is 2K. All seriousness, honestly, probably just keep the same team. It's gonna be a lot of LeBron. You just gotta do what you did last season, Bron, and feed AD. AD is gonna do. It's gonna be one of those things where it was, AD looks like he's dominating games. He will be, obviously. Let him have his high stats. Ron, you get to just relax. Let Schroeder and Montrez come in. Get some, probably average more assists this year, if not the same, just because you have more shooting. Consistent shooting, I guess you could say. Keep spending $2 million on your body. Stay hydrated. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, honestly. Just see
That was a beautiful conversation. I'm sure he listened to every word.
He did.
Deionte, would you like to go, or would you like me to go?
I can take over the wheel.
Okay, so on the phone for Deionte is Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. What are you gonna let him know?
Great, Paul George.
Good morning, good afternoon, Mr. Ballmer. So I'm probably like one of the biggest Clipper fans you have, and I take the most heat from when you guys do really poorly because I cheer for you guys the most. But just simply put, biggest thing on my issue is just we can't have the same thing that happened last season. Of course, blowing a 3-1 lead is huge, and it's something hard to come back from. But, like, with no significant boost to the roster, like, Serge Ibaka was a really good boost to the roster, don't get me wrong, but we lacked – well, there's two things we lacked. One big thing we lacked is point guard play. Like, we don't have any real playmaking on the floor. Like, of course, Kawhi can probably get the ball and set people up to go score, or, you know, vice versa. Patrick Beverley can get the ball and he can, you know, let the offense run through, you know, set off ball screens for PG and Kawhi and whatnot, let them get to their spots and score. But that's not going to cut it when it comes down to the playoffs. Like, if you don't have somebody who can just physically facilitate the game and become like a true point guard, and like how Rajon Rondo was for the Lakers, it's not going to cut it. Like, it's not going to help us win. So you got to try to find some way to get that on the roster before we get to the playoffs. And you got to find some time, and this is my second thing, you got to have time for the team to gel. Because we were supposed to take the second half of the season to gel as a roster and really, like, you know, get camaraderie between the team, you know, between all the people on the roster. But that didn't happen because of COVID. So, you know, we never really became solidified as a team, like how other teams, and I hate to bring them up again, like the Lakers, like they really became a unit, like a force. We didn't do that. And I don't know if that was because, you know, we did all these deals where we let, you know, Kawhi take these many days off, Paul George take that many days off. But no, like, you got to just treat them like they're, and it's hard to say it, but like the regular players, like they got to show up and play for as many games as they possibly can, unless they're injured. And we have to grow as a unit, because it's not going to work come playoff time when you just expect to have talent on the floor, but the talent doesn't know how to play together. And we saw that last year. We can't have that happen again. That's pretty much it.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful conversation.
Thank you, sir.
Trade Paul George is crazy.
Trade Paul. Trade Paul.
Biggest
Sorry.
talking point would have been trading Paul George.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
At the side
Something
of the
went
back.
through.
You guys are good.
Daniel, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Could you imagine a clutch game and you hit the side of the backboard and you're supposed to be one of the best players in the league, let alone your position? That is absolutely wild to me. And you just blame the other. Then you had the audacity to blame the coach. Doc Rivers got him fired, you know. But it's okay. We should keep you on the team, you know. Everywhere you say you want to stay for life. But Daniel, go ahead. Trying to help you out.
Arms of the angel. Sorry, Deionte. That's tough. That's a lot of truth, but I mean,
It is truth there. But I mean,
yeah, they're probably putting their eggs in that basket, and we'll see how that rolls.
You know, get James Harden.
Interesting. All right, so my phone call is going to be with new head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers. So, what's up, Doc? Sorry, I didn't mean to make that pun, but what's up, Doc? Number one thing is do everything you can to get Ben Simmons to shoot a three-pointer. Everything you can. All right, bribe him with, I don't care what, your firstborn, not possible anymore, he has kids. Bribe him with anything you can, give him your salary, whatever. Just make the guy shoot a three-pointer. Just shoot, try. See if you can be the guy to make him do that. If you can't, then, I mean, maybe all hope is lost, but do what you can to try and get him to shoot, because that could change the way your team looks. Make sure Joel Embiid is getting his touches in the paint, in the post. Make sure he's posting up, getting his shots where he needs to, not just spotting up and shooting. He is a capable shooter, but make sure he is not limited to just being a capable shooter, because he is probably the best scoring center in the league Jokic is pretty close there, but in terms of everywhere he can score from, all the different ways, I'm taking Joel Embiid. You have more shooters on your team, so that's going to be helpful when it comes to spacing for him to be able to shoot the ball, assuming Danny Green, is shooting well, which he can. He wasn't shooting very well towards the end of the season, and in the playoffs, but he can shoot. And you picked up Seth Curry. You got shooters now. You traded Al Horford, which, Al Horford's a great player, but it just wasn't a great fit. You're putting Tobias back at the 4, so Tobias can hit some jumpers. He can score here and there. So, that should help a lot too when it comes to spacing. And do what you can. This team has come up short a lot in the last couple of years, and in times where we were like, oh, they're going to the finals, and they've just come up short time and time again. And see what you can get from this James Harden trade. See if you can make it happen. See if you're not trading like the whole barn, if you're not trading every one of your pieces that would still make you a really good team. Like if you can make that trade work and, keep a solid supporting cast, so you don't have to trade all to Houston, make it happen. Obviously, that's a big 3 right there that can get your team to the finals. But if not, it might not be worth it, and you might just want to stick with what you have and try and find something later, or just with that unit, try and get them to the finals.
Sounds great advice.
I think when talking to Doc, though, you also got to let him know, like, keep it in the back of your mind that if you guys don't perform the way you're supposed to, and as many people think of you guys either being contenders or at least making it to the second round before next year,
you're out of there.
Not even that you're out of there. It's just the roster that you're going to come back with next year is going to be revamped because you're dealing with Daryl Morey. He makes trades left and right, and he already said he's only given the duo a year. So it's this year under Doc Rivers, and then if they don't produce the way they're supposed to, somebody's leaving. So you got these 2 talents to work with one season, and then it's over after that.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our podcast. I want to thank Deionte and Antoine for joining me at this time.
Thank you for having me, bro.
No problem.
I'm sure I will be seeing you guys again at some time soon.
Yes, sir, you will.
Everyone out there, have a safe holiday season, and we'll see you next time. Let's end with everyone find the hardest thing you have in the room and hit it against your head as hard as you can.
All right, guys, I'm out. I'm going to lead a meeting.
Whoever's conscious at the end wins.
But I'm still trying to get my degree,
Whoever's conscious at the end wins. Is the new host of the podcast.
I'm already the host. The most level-headed person we got in the group.
Come on, hit
yourselves.
The new
Let's host. Go. You guys ever look in the dark and just wait for something to move?
No, that's nightmarish, bro. We're waiting.
You don't just like I'll be laying down watching Netflix, and then I'll when you look in the dark room after looking at a screen, it's really dark.
It's dark.
I wait for it to settle until I can see things, and I wait to see if anything moves. Nothing moves, but I look.
No, because if something moves, fast. I'm going to go off because I know it's just me in my room.
Yeah,
so there's a problem.